everybody. Oh, I'm echoing again. Welcome back to Beyond the Box. We haven't been here for a while because I've been pretty much under the weather since that blood moon. Really bad allergies and other things going on. I'm getting a little bit better, but still not quite there. How you doing there?
Better, but
Oh, how you doing, Chad?
I'm well, thank you. I'm just I'm coordinating now because now I got everything going. So just a few little glitches. And are you still hearing yourself echo?
No.
Okay, good, because I got you turned way down, so that's good. And then I'll be popping these headphones on in a little bit, and I think that'll be better once they're charged. They're new.
Yeah.
I had to ask for them because there was that echo. Let me get this volume down on this.
You know, we always have technical difficulties. It's okay. I don't mind technical difficulties as long as things aren't blowing up, then we're all right.
Yes.
So I had to find a new vape shop because the one where I get my normal vapes from down the road, they aren't selling anymore. They have like these real little ones, and I've gotten two of them. The first one was malfunctioned, didn't even work right. It's like,
What was it that malfunctioned though? Because I thought I heard you say bakery shop.
no, a vape shot. Vape.
Oh.
Yeah. Stupid thing.
Oh.
I got a brand new one. I used it a little bit one night, and then the next day it decided to crap out on me. So I was like, well, that didn't work out well in my favor. Man, there's been so much going on lately. It's like when I wake up every day, something different has happened. Something new is happening. These people are getting shot, and these people are getting shot, and these people are getting shot. And I know why they're doing it. And everybody's screaming, oh, gun control. I'm sorry. I've had a gun sitting on my desk for 2 years, and it's never gotten up and went and killed anybody. So
knives, and they haven't gotten up and stabbed anybody.
I know, see?
So it's like
if it's not one thing, it's another. I think that it is safer I stay home and do my own thing. I
well,
can't.
If you want to kind of like jump into it a little bit, like his parents, I don't know, like psychologists, military, is there MKU that's possible in this scenario or something without any of them knowing it? It's just,
yeah, who knows? I mean, it
sounds like he had motivation though, so I don't know. It sounds like he was pretty aware.
There's so much different stuff coming out, and they don't really tell us the truth about a lot of things, and there's so much speculation that regardless of what's right and what's wrong and who did what for how many cookies, a man, a father, was killed. The girl on the bus, what was she doing? She was riding home on the bus. If it's not, here's the problem. People scream gun control, but I am going to tell you this. I have a friend that lives in Australia, and he turned around and he said, by no means do you guys ever give up your guns. Don't ever do that. We did it, and now we can't fight back, and our government gets out of hand, and there's nothing we can do. The reason why they crap on us so much is because our government knows there's more of us than there are of them. They take away your guns. What do you have? You have knives, machetes. Well, then they take those away. Then what? Baseball bat. There's always going to be something somebody can cause harm from. So here's the deal: instead of taking away things, why don't they help those people that are doing harm? There are too many people in this country and other countries that have got mental issues that need to be corrected, you know?
Well, that one person on the train or the bus, 19 times he was released, wasn't he?
Yep, for violent
That's a
crime,
lot.
no
I
cash
mean, for
bails.
violent stuff too.
Yeah, and no cash bonds. It was just let that go. Just off you went. So I don't know. Things have been so screwed up in this country for many, many years. I mean, people can blame Trump all they want, but you go back 60 years, it was still the same thing. It's because there's a certain crowd of people that take precedence over everything on this planet, and they're the ones that screw it up. I don't know why. Like I said, I think that if Elon Musk wants to go to Mars, he just needs to take all these crooked ass people and send them to Mars. Let them go live somewhere else.
They hate Earth so much. Why not?
I know, yeah, exactly. Go away then. You don't like it here? Go. Go find your own planet to go live on and screw up.
We'll see how
Oh,
socialism does well on Mars.
yeah.
You know,
Socialism
okay, I'm
on
gonna say it's an ideal state. It's like, you know, we all dream about it, but it's for heaven. It's not for here.
yeah.
We need
All this stuff looks good on paper, but in reality, forget it.
yes.
It's no, it's
And
no,
it's
no, no.
ironic too, because now we're talking about crazies out there shooting people, and we're about to get into asylums when they were instituting people for menopause. I mean, I don't
For
know.
menopause.
You're on menopause, you need a lobotomy.
Yes, that is what we're gonna do. And I'm gonna
Yeah.
try to set something up, guys, that once a month, I think that me, Chad, Susie, and probably Sherry, we're gonna set up a game night. I found some really good like quiz games, and it's gonna be an audience participation. And I'm going to try to set it up to where we're going to let the audience take the guesses. And at the end of the game, whoever wins and gets the most right, I'm going to do I'm going to do a cash giveaway. So it'll be, it's not going to be a large amount, but it'll be a little bit of an incentive to come and play the game with us. And I think it'll be kind of fun. I'm going to talk to Susie about it and see what we can pull together. But I just happened to see it and I thought, oh God, that sounds so cool. I think I'm going to do this.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it would be kind of fun
And the
because,
last two times I've not been able to see the chat. So
yeah, you can see the
yeah,
chat now.
now I can see
Yay.
the chat. Yeah. Now I can see the chat.
Yeah. We're, we've been off on a like a well Brenda's been on like a little sabbatical because I've not been well, but uh I'm getting there, so hopefully, if I take another day or so, maybe I'll be up to par. So, what are we doing tonight? We're going to be talking about asylums and people being put away just because they're on menopause, just so they can steal people's
Yeah.
kids.
You could check yourself in. Now, these started out like with some sort of treatment that was supposed to be friendly, you know, like being out in the sunshine, quiet time, all that kind of stuff. But then they quickly became overwhelmed, is the story. I don't believe any of these narratives, by the way, but
Yeah, they're a pain in
we'll
the butt.
debate it because if you listen to their narrative, you know, it's explained in a way.
Yeah,
Um,
they went
but
cuckoo or something.
but when we look at the buildings and we see the technology going into them, and that it's a purpose, that it's just not a design choice, that it's actually a functioning piece of equipment, the building itself, then you have to wonder, our history is false.
Yeah.
And so their narrative must not be quite accurate.
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 You know
So
what gets me? If way back in those days they didn't have electricity like we have now. So, how did they put people in asylums and use shock treatment? Where'd that come from? Car battery? I don't think it would have been strong enough. You know what I mean?
and it must have started at a certain time. I couldn't imagine that they were doing it. I know lobotomies have been around for a little while, though. I'm pretty sure.
Oh God, I think they did that back in
Going
the
down and
Egyptian days. Because back in the Egyptian days, when they would remove like their heart and stuff, they put them in those canisters that they put in the coffins with them. But to mummify somebody, they had to make sure every organ was out, including the brain. And what they used to do back then is put that rod in there and they would scoop it around and then pull it out the nose. Now, how your brain fits out your nose, I really have a hard time with those measurements, but
oh gosh, they were, yeah, it's horrible. And then
they used to,
we'll read a little thing about that too, because there's a little printed out thing that I have on lobotomies or something, a sign in one of these things. And then
I mean,
okay.
am I crazy in thinking that the brain is so much bigger than the nostril hole?
Oh, I think they just pulled out part of the the mommies. Yeah, no, they had to liquefy them first, and then they
Oh,
sucked them out with a straw. Is what I remember.
oh, okay. Well, I had that all wrong.
I think that's what happens.
That's what I get for being sick.
Hi, Monisha.
Hi, girl. So, but all right, well, let's get started on our first little endeavor here.
She's my color and Benetton's girl. She doesn't know we have that in common. I'm very of the rainbow. When it comes to the company I keep and stuff like that. And I heard her say that too. We had a great talk last time. I'm just so sorry that I was sleep deprived and couldn't engage as much as I would have liked to have, but it was a joy to listen to you. Yes, little puppy, I see you. So I wanted to, let me see, I can go to share. No, that's not what I want to do.
You know, I laugh because I think way back in the day when they talk about um, locking women up because of menopause, back in those days, I don't think menopause was as bad as it is now. Because back then, women didn't say much. Now we just fly off the handle and we don't care. All right, what are you sharing?
I'm trying to find the screen share. And it says down here, show screen share to self. And so.
Well, you just go to the share TV button or the share screen right there.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
that button, and then it'll pop up a window.
Yep.
And then you go to where that's at. Hi, Annette.
Hold on. I'm getting it, yo. What's happening?
Okay,
I wanted to look through mansions because that was so screwed up last time real quick. And I just want to flash through that real quick now that I got it.
Oh, okay.
Because it'll make more sense. And we'll just see like what's inside these unique buildings that they claim to have built as pilgrims. And
I like
so
mansions.
I go to share now, and it should give me that option.
I like mansions. One day I might be able to live in one.
See, it's asking me, it's a share your stream. That's what I was confused about. Like,
What?
well, let's do it this way.
Is it just pictures?
Yep.
You can share those to me on Messenger, and I can pull them up if you need me to.
Let me see if I can get this just to behave right now. Hold on.
Okay.
It's uploading something for us.
What?
My stream avatar. No. Okay, so where did screen share go? Do you know?
It should be down at the bottom of your screen. Should be down at the bottom.
It was. It was.
It'll say mute, stop video.
It was.
Okay.
It's doing it.
I just heard something. Okay.
So
Now here's the problem. If you want to make any of those pictures bigger, you can push on it, see if it'll work, but I don't know if it'll bring it up like that. I think you got to bring the pictures up individually first and then share the screen.
whoa.
Oh, something happened. What happened?
So that's going to be too much. Let's go to the asylums then. And I'll figure that out.
Okay.
Because I was hoping that I could just hit next, because it gives me.
You can if you bring it up first.
You're
If
right.
you pull the picture on your screen first and then share that screen, and then you can click over to next.
Okay, and it'll be a contrast. We'll see how some people were living. Okay, I get it.
I'm teaching Chad right now, guys.
Okay, so we got this. And now, let me get rid of that. And I can go to share. Yep. Okay, I think you're right. So let's see if it works. It should be processing.
It's not very big. I can't see it.
Yeah, this one's not going to be very big.
Oh, okay. So what is that?
Seriously, it's not going to.
Is that one of the asylums?
Oh my gosh. You know what?
What?
It would make sense if there was like, I picked the picture so that I could scroll from one to the next. So hold on.
I didn't do it. It
I'm
was
being schooled. Oh.
What's it doing?
Let me. Okay, I think this is what I may need to do. And let me make this smaller so I can see all of us. Stay on page. Okay. Yeah, now it's showing different things, correct? Okay.
Yeah, it did.
So if I go to this next one, okay, so that was telling us the hotel, and it was from Wikipedia, and it was the Breakers Hotel. This is their front entrance right here. This is inside the entrance.
Oh, that's pretty.
You think?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. This is a mansion. This is one of the rooms in there. And you can see the fireplace.
Yep. They just don't make stuff like that no more.
You can see the two things on the side. That's what we're learning to identify. And even that statue right there on the table kind of resembles those statues that are on top. So it's like it's almost like the same artwork comes from.
Yeah, the ones with no arms and no heads and all that stuff.
There's another room in the same hotel, and you can see up there, they've got the squares with the flowers in them. Another fireplace. bedroom, bedroom, fireplace,
I wonder why they rope off the beds so nobody
fireplace.
goes and lays in them.
No, I think it's on display. I think it's like I don't know, you can maybe take tours of it now, or maybe it was like there's the ceiling in there. Now, you're right, Brenda, because when we do zoom in, um, there is no plug for this light.
Yeah.
And I've seen that in
See?
the other pictures too that I've been looking at. Um, and it's supposed to be, you know, the technology in these places, if they're running, it's supposed to be electromagnetic, like the Tesla style. And so we looked at these before, so we're not going to go too into detail. I'm just showing you that this is all the same mansion. Every
Pretty cool.
room, fireplace. Um, there's the ceiling.
You know, I could have a house like that and all my friends could live there.
You see that? Yeah. These people are living in these places and claiming them for themselves and having us, you know, and this is also part of the same mansion. Now, if you look at this one, this is an older picture of a mansion. You can see the
Yep.
guys stop there. They're even holding on to the fence. They're posing. You got the people on the porch, Ma and Pa, that built this place. And you look on top, you got all that antiquity, right? Or
So, yeah, like the electric rods.
yep. So when we go to the next picture, however, you'll notice those are missing. This is
Yeah,
current time. So
of
this is what
course
we
they
look at
are.
the buildings now, and we see, you know, they don't have the rods on them.
Right.
So this is what we're looking for. You know, we'll recognize this and say, okay, that's Antiquitech up there, and then but it's missing the poles. So anyways, okay. So it's that one's just worth looking at. I mean, you got your everything you can hope to find, including the Magatron right there. So inside that place is this room,
Holy crap.
and this room, and this room, and this room, and this room. This is the pool that's outside. This is the pool that's inside in that same mansion. Same mansion. I mean, look up above you, you know. This had to be the way it was back in the days.
Yeah,
Um,
but how did they make all this stuff? Because hammers and chisels didn't design all that. I'm sorry.
exactly, right? So this had to have been from another time, from another era. And what I'd like to discover is what that era was kind of like, because I can't imagine it being so different than what we're experiencing now. They had to have they had to have some sort of politics going on, some sort of
Oh,
finances
yeah.
going on. And then was it that they were protecting themselves in these refined cities from the cyclopses and giants, you know, in the territories where they weren't developing land or whatever, these cities, you know, or were they protecting themselves from each other, you know, different nations? Were they at war with each other? It's just, it
Yeah.
doesn't, I don't know. It's just going to be interesting to put it together. And I think we can do that by looking through the old paintings because, you know, that is of the last, before the last reset.
Right.
And some of them are quite drunken and hanging out and acting like arrogance, you know, like barflies. I don't know, just it just looked like crassness. And I don't know what the world was like back then, but did it spoil itself? You know, I don't think it was as perfect as we think. However, at one point, somebody did build those buildings, and then we moved in.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the asylums.
Yeah. And while you're looking for those, we have a few more people in here. So I'm going to say again, I'm going to be
Nice.
putting together once a month, we're going to do a game night. and we're going to do quiz things. And at the end of the game, whoever gets the most right answers, I'm going to be doing a cash prize giveaway. It's like I said, it's not going to be like a whole lot of money, but it's going to be a little, so we can make it fun. I found these really neat quizzes and they're really cool. So I thought, yeah, that'll be fun. Oh, God, is that an asylum? Goodness.
It's not starting right on point, I don't think. So let me just, there we go. Yeah, it was, though, I'm pretty sure. But during the 1940s and the 1950s, the prefrontal lobotomy was performed on more than 40,000 patients in the United States and on around 10,000 in Western Europe. So they're saying between 1940s and 50s. So um,
Wow.
we'll go with that. There's your view.
Of what? Out the
Yeah.
door?
Yes. That's probably that's your view.
Wow.
um, so views of Toledo State Hospital for the Insane.
Wow.
That's big.
Yes.
Okay, that's just the inside. I just had to throw one picture in there of that. Now this is Fondling, New York orphanage. So this is not an asylum, but this is. I have to separate the orphanages. Sorry, but this is where the orphan trains were getting their supply from. Was from this orphanage right here. And if you want a closer look at it, I can zoom in. Little kids with dolls, cribs. Looks like lots of
Wow.
cribs and beds in the background that don't look that bad, but I'm sure that's a nice picture of everybody's dressed up and showered and
Oh yeah,
posed.
that's a that's a photo op. Wow.
So this is an insane asylum, and those are cement bricks that they would make there. I don't see the name of it though. Sorry. Creedmoor Psychiatric Center building. And how do you like that harp going on in the
Yeah,
background?
I see that. I was gonna say, look at that sky. Wow, yeah. Those
There's
are
some radio
natural
waves going through
clouds,
the
aren't they?
clouds for you, or
Yep.
microwaves. This is Danvers
Now,
Hospital.
look at the building.
Yeah,
Those
that's what we're
people
saying. These are
did
insane
not,
asylums back in the day.
I mean, I don't know. I think that it is incredible they made buildings like that back then when people rode around on horse and buggies still. Wow, look
Hmm.
at that.
Forest Haven. There's quite a few pictures of Forest Haven here. We'll go through these a little bit fast because there is another website that we might pop on, and I have it ready if you wanted to. It has really nice pictures of inside all these asylums. It's called Abandoned America.
Ooh,
Abandoned America. And
ooh.
this is Fondling Hospital, the one that I showed you. Um,
You know, who comes up with that name? Fondling.
I know, Fondling for an orphanage.
Yeah,
But here it is. I mean, there's your orphanage. Jeez.
God. Were there really that many kids?
Jeez. Inside an asylum, this is a painting. Doesn't look very peaceful. Evangelical center, but it was an asylum. Sorry. This is Hart Island. There's over 1 million people buried on this island. It's been a hospital, a place for tuberculosis, insane asylum, reformed, and a prison. Um,
I bet you
had quite a
they
history.
bet you they had built over all those people
Henryton
that were
State Hospital. That
all
looks
those
like a place I want to stay.
all those people that were buried. I bet they built over them. Yep.
Oh, I didn't see my face was out of the camera. Sorry, because I have it covered with this. Um, there we go. Now I can see myself. This is Henrington State.
See, the newer into our age that it gets, the smaller they get.
Yeah,
That
this one
must,
was built quite a while ago. This is like 1800 still.
wow.
I think all of these are kind of 1800s. If it was modern, I didn't really put it in Henrington State again.
Now let's try to put some sense on this, okay? They had that many insane asylums back in the 18 and early 1900s.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay. And now there are a lot more people, like even in the United States now, than there was back then. Why did they need to have so many of those? And why are they so big? Was it because people started to see what was going on, didn't like it, talked out about it, and they thought, oh, lobotomy for you? Was that how they kept the people back then quiet? Locked them up? I mean, I can't see the sense for all of those. But I don't know. Now, lately, I think they need to open those things back up because we got some issues going on around here.
Well, okay. There's moderation, right?
Yeah.
We don't need to throw everybody in there because they got, a case of depression or something, but we definitely need to put a few people in these things. Now, this is all the buildings, I guess, that it's showing. So this is Lechtwork. We've been looking at that one, so we'll move on. Okay, these are, if you notice, there's no names on these. They do numbers. And they don't even know how many people are buried here because there's multiple bodies in some of these, bones in some
Jeez.
of these. But that's how you got buried. You didn't know who you were, or same. This is the same asylum. It's just different buildings in it. Same asylum, different building. More of the graveyard. Bird's eye view of it now. So this is a poorhouse. You can see how everybody slept, it looks like.
See, now I agree with those because, like right now, we could
Yeah,
use something like
yeah,
that for our homeless people, only because it would keep
yeah.
them safe, keep them off the streets, you know.
Only we're seeing the sleeping quarters here, but if you look at the buildings, it's like they have one entrance. They have certain rules. You have to be to bed by a certain time. You have to be up by a certain time, and you have to work. And if you don't follow those rules, there's consequences that are going to be paid. And then they had 3 categories of people.
Well, that's back then. I'm saying now we could use
Oh
a place
yeah,
like that for
we
our
could.
homeless people.
You're right. Yeah, for the homeless and people that, and even outdoors, because I've been with homeless before. I've done the Occupy movement and different things before in the past where I've been out on the streets with homeless, and some of them don't want to be indoors. They don't like sleeping indoors. They don't like the roof over their head. They have a phobia or something like that.
Well,
And
then
then
give them a safe space in the backyard and put a tent up for them.
exactly, yeah. So we could build something that would be, but then you gotta, yeah, you gotta police it and stuff. Let's see.
Yeah.
This is all Medfield. So it's just showing you that these are not small. This is dinner time at a poorhouse. Um, they'd get like 1 meal a day, oftentimes. Yeah.
But yeah, you had all the rich people living in those mansions high on the hog,
Yep.
probably
And
rooms that in that house that they've never even been in.
yeah,
I
this is
mean,
the Fondling Hospital where the orphanage was that you saw the inside of. Um, this is still that.
I still don't like the fact that they called an orphanage fondling. What?
I know. I was thinking that myself, to be honest with you, before the show. that thought did cross my head. So this is a poorhouse.
That the women's
There's
side.
quite a few of those. Rock Haven. This is a Russian one. This is a poorhouse in Russia. Um,
Still looks bigger than the
just
one that they
included it,
showed
yeah,
before.
because they had them all over the world. Is the thing. Asylums,
Yeah.
poorhouses. This isn't just us. It was happening at the same time all over the world. Um, oh, I guess they taped Police Academy here, but this used to be an asylum.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, and this is called Five Nations Poorhouse. So I don't know if this was for like people from. This looks like Indonesia somewhere, and they were putting them there, or if this is in Indonesia, but I'm pretty sure it was here in America. Now this crib here, this is in the Fondling um,
Orphanage.
orphanage, and they'd put this white crib out there for people to leave their baby in, instead of on the doorstep in a basket. They'd put this basket out there. This is where the orphan train started from, mind you. So this is all a show, I believe. But this is when Thorazine came out. I just think it's interesting because it shows them fighting a giant eye, all-seeing eye. And Thorazine is especially effective when a psychotic episode is triggered by delusion or hallucinations. So this came about, and then they started releasing people from the insane asylums because it became more docile.
Well,
Now
surely they
this
could.
is trans. This one we got a lot of pictures of this one because it's just so big. This is sorry you guys.
We went a little fast there.
I don't know what happened. Yeah, hold on.
Kept your finger on the button.
Something happened. Yeah. So. Oh, I see. I went all the way to the end. So there we go. Trans Allegheny. This is quite large. Also, it right there. I mean, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 floors almost that you're seeing right there, and then one entrance. And that's the freezers. I guess they would keep the dead bodies on.
Yeah, those look like
or whatever.
Body slabs. Yeah.
This is inside there too, but I'm telling you that other site has better pictures. All the asylums look like that inside now. They're just torn apart. This is the Trans Allegheny. I mean, look at it. This is enormous. These are the different buildings, that's affiliated with it, and those are some of the buildings as well.
And see, and a lot of them are empty now, right?
This is the same one. Yeah, this is it right there.
See,
we didn't build that, by the way.
No. And we have buildings like that all over the place, and that's what I'm saying.
Yep.
I don't know if you heard about the mass shooting the other day of the homeless encampment. There was a guy who owns property lots, and what he would do is he would let the homeless people set up tents and stuff there to keep them off the streets, so they had a safe place to be. And the city had been after them, telling them that he needed to get them out of there, clean it up, yada yada. But it was privately owned, so there was nothing anybody could really do about it. So somebody went through there with guns and shot a bunch of the people there, so they had to move everybody out of there. Well, it seems like the city got what they wanted. So why don't they take buildings that are empty like this, go in and kind of refurbish them and use them? They're sitting empty anyways. Utilize them for homeless people, the ones that will stay inside. Give them a safe, clean place to be. I mean, it's crazy with them all over the streets like they are. They don't have anywhere to be, which, you know what, I'm sorry, but if I wandered around outside by myself all the time and ran into just a bunch of people not caring, I'd probably go nuts too. Nuttier than I already am, but hey. Now,
and
what's that?
they're being forced out of the cities right now, is what they're saying. Their encampments are having to move every week, so they
Yep.
can't get stabilized. They're not allowed to camp in tents of a certain size. They can only can camp in small tents, um, and they're where are they to go? You know, because all the
Yeah.
facilities are built for them are downtown, and so
You know, and a lot of people, I'm just going to say this, um, these are people that have lost everything in society. Some of them are homeless because, or their homes might have burnt down. They lost their families. Um, you know, when you start to get older, and I can tell you right now, from my point of view with Social Security, that they don't make it easy for you to get there. Okay, they don't make it easy. So, and then when they do give it to you, you don't make enough to be able to live on your own. Um, just things are so screwed up. So a lot of these people have had to take in to, you know, being homeless and out on the streets, and there is nobody to help them, you know? They can't get any help. So what's there left for them to do?
right. You can hear me, yes?
Yeah, you're a little low. You can turn yourself up now. Woohoo.
Figure out how to do that. All right, maybe is this better?
You're good. Yeah, yes.
Okay, I think it was just a little too far away. This is another one. This isn't the same one. This is a different one. So this is the Traverse. This is the Weston State Hospital, Willard Asylum for the chronically insane. I'm assuming this is a woman's poor hall.
They've got kids with them there.
Yeah, look at this lady. She's got her face covered. I just
Yeah.
I think that's as high as it's going to let me go. So um, just an interesting group.
Well, they can't blame that on menopause because a lot of those don't even look old enough to be there.
No, no, they had all sorts of things. I think paranoia, maybe even. I don't know. I think just their, yeah, or anxiety. Um,
They put people in houses for anxiety. Anxiety.
well, we can always look that up. Now, let me pull this up real quick. Okay. Let me go here to Abandon America and pull this up. We're going to
Okay.
go to Abandon America, but we're not going to the website
Oh, okay. Cool.
because I don't know how to do that. Because it pulls it up. I don't think I do. I'd have to figure it out, y'all. I know it's probably easy. So let's see. This is
Are we done with this one?
yes. Thank you. I was trying to figure that out.
Okay. I'll get it. Got it.
Thank you.
Got it. Oh, think I have another doctor's appointment coming up on the 7th. I'm going to tell them they need to do something. I don't like feeling like this. And I noticed it was kind of weird because Abe and I both said the same thing. Right around the time they had that blood moon, we both started getting just wore out and not feeling good. Allergies have been bad. Um, I've been doing nothing but laying around so much I've wore a groove in my bed.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Uh, and I've been the last 2 nights. I like last night, I got up just in time for Abe to start his show. I think I was up for 35, 40 minutes maybe, and I fell back to sleep. Looks like I did it again. Night before, I did the same thing. It's been crazy.
I
Yesterday,
lost I lost the share thing, so I don't have it.
how'd you lose it?
I don't know. I see the chat now too on here, and I was looking at the chat over here. So
You don't have the bottom of the screen? What'd you do? Expand it?
I don't know. It's not giving me any options wherever I move, though. Sorry, I'm trying
Okay.
trying
All
to
right.
do everything but click myself out. So
Well, did we ever,
yeah,
let's just talk about, did we ever find out exactly how many asylums that they put up throughout the United States alone?
you can't.
You can't, it won't let you?
No,
Ah,
because
wow.
they don't have a record of it. So if I say list of American, they can give you some. They can give you some.
But they don't give them all to you and tell you how
Mm-mm.
many. I wonder why. Did they do that for a reason? They don't want us to know that they just did nothing but build insane asylums and stuck people in it. So they don't want to tell us how many.
It says while it is not possible to create a complete list of every American asylum, a timeline of notable historic institutions and reforms provides a snapshot of their development.
Hmm. Interesting.
So we have the Pennsylvania Hospital, the Eastern State Hospital, Spring Grove Hospital. These are in the 1700s that they're claiming some of these.
Really?
And then in the 19th century, it looks like there's about 2, 4, 6, 8 listed. Um,
So they had big buildings like that in the 1700s. Is that what you're saying?
let's see.
How
Yeah.
did how
Oh
did
yeah. One of
how
them.
did they how did they build those?
Okay.
That's that's impossible. Well, so we know that they have done resets several different times in history. And I think
Yes.
they did it because every time they came up with something like, all right, I don't know if everybody knows about, we're going to start with the Queen Mary. Is it the Queen Mary? No. Which one was it that sailed? That's like the Titanic. Okay. Here's the problem with this. The people who own the Titanic own two ships. The Titanic was the new one. The other one was its older one. So they had a board meeting with banks, and the bankers wanted to bring in the Federal Reserve. JP Morgan and a bunch of people were involved in this. Well, there was three people on Titanic that went against this, and they were very, very big money people. Okay. They happened to have been on the Titanic.
Yep.
So they changed the insurance company. They threw a fresh coat of paint on the Olympic, which was the Titanic sister ship that was older. And I think JP Morgan was supposed to be on the Titanic that night when it sailed out. But at the last minute, he canceled. So did a few others. But then it sunk. So they ended up finding out that they redid the insurance on the Titanic. So basically, they got the money for the newer ship when that's not what it was. There was a bunch of things on there that were different, um, like the original Titanic had a lot more escape boats than the other one did. So they didn't have enough boats when this thing sunk. But they did it because after, I think it was like a month after that, that's when they brought in the federal. Reserve, where it was just the bankers that had money. So tell me, back in those days, every time people learned things and they felt like people were getting close to figuring out things they were doing, they would just do a reset, do some kind of world event that knocked things out, mud floods, all this other stuff. They did this because what happens when there is a traumatic thing that happens? Everybody forgets about whatever else is going on in the world. They were supposed to be when 9/11 hit. They were supposed to be that next day holding those court hearings to find out where that trillions of dollars went missing out of the Pentagon. And what happened? 9/11 happened and that got all thrown away. All of it.
And
Every
they took
time,
out
huh?
and they took out Bill Cooper, which got covered up. I mean,
Yeah.
they machine gunned him down in his home right around the same time.
I think that right now, I don't think they can do that again right now because there are way too many people that know way too many things. So back then,
Yeah.
when they were building these asylums and they, well, supposedly building these asylums and all this other stuff, I think that that was stuff that was built from before Tartaria days, a lot of them. And people just moved into them and said, look what we built, threw a fresh coat of paint on it and made it seem like they did it. Because we didn't have the tools back then. In the 1700s, the 1800s, even some of the early 1900s, we didn't have the tools to be able to build those things. What is this picture that you sent me?
That's that building in 1700s, just so you could.
This is a 1700s? Are you
Mhm.
serious? Wow. Let me bring that up here. Look at that thing. Jeez. That
Looked
was
like it
built
had a
in this
dome
thing.
on it, huh? Maybe at one
Yes.
point.
Yeah, because it's rounded up there. So, yes, it does.
And it probably goes underground. That may be
Oh, I'm sure it's got a big basement in it.
so now with the reset, I think what they did is they wiped out the technology first, and then they came in and did the massacre. And then they came in afterwards to do the reestablishing of the land. And I think that's when people were going into the institutions and the kids were going into the orphanages and everybody was getting split up. I mean, that sounds logical to me.
Yeah,
Now they're trying to say the incubator babies were for premature babies. I would like to research that a little deeper and see if that's the case. It was to prevent um, genetics or whatever, people wanting to promote the strongest genes, and premature babies were looked at as being weak. And so, the incubators really did help that
right.
along. And then they put them in display so that they could charge ticket prices for it. And that would pay for the babies so the parents didn't have to. And it paid for the nurses. So that's what we're being told.
Yeah,
Now, he learned from a guy in France who had a prodigy, somebody he taught the incubators and to put them on display. And then that person taught the person here in America. I would be interested to see if they were affiliated with the Paris World Fair, you know what I'm saying?
right.
If just to see if maybe the incubator baby thing is innocent and it was for premature babies, but at the same
But why
time,
put it at a fair?
why put yeah, and we have the Cabbage Patch thing going on, which is a mystery. We don't know exactly what
Right.
happened there, but there's a lot that was definitely implied, and the population increased 1,000% in the 1900s. So
Yeah.
and it wasn't just from immigration.
No. Yeah. it's and see, I was under the impression that they learned how to do the whole conception thing and raise them in incubators. When they took them to those fairs, they were on display, but that people could purchase those children. But the way that you said it is people that had those children, but they were premature,
Hmm.
and to save them, they put them in there. But
On display.
if it was my child and it was in an incubator, I mean, why are you going to put them at a World's Fair?
Because you'd have to pay for it out of pocket, and it would be like the equivalent of $75 a day or something like that nowadays, or something, or maybe it was 400. I don't remember,
Yeah, but
but
preemie babies can be sick. Why are you going? That's what I'm saying. I would have a problem with them putting my child on display somewhere at a fair. And they had like,
but they were trying to sell these to the hospitals, mind you, and they were trying to get the hospitals to be on board with this as well, I believe. So
oh,
this was a movement a little bit, yeah. I think they were trying, and then after he was accomplished, or after he got shut down, then the hospital started carrying him, I believe, is what I
well, that was
understand.
a weird way to go about it. Why not just take one of the machines and donate it to the hospital so they could see how it worked and then let them order more?
Yeah.
Why take your baby and put them on display at some place where people are walking around drinking beer and having a good old day? I mean, I would be like, no, keep those dirty drunk alcoholics away from my kid.
Yeah, and they'd put them right next to the Carney Fair and right the freak show, and then they'd also put it right next to the Peep show. So
Oh, geez.
you'd go see where the babies came from, in the Peep show.
Here, let's just put you right here next to the naked ladies and the crazy people. Good place to put your babies.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is it was on Coney Island, is where he had something going, and then he also had something going more so in Atlanta or Atlantic City in that World Fair, and in that area. That was his longest stint. But Coney Island, it ended with the fire. But if you look at those pictures of Coney Island before the fire, whoa, it was quite an amusement park, ornate. And I
Yeah,
don't believe it was,
I think I've seen some of those. I think Steve,
yeah.
see, Steve has pictures of some of this stuff. Um, because we had brought some of it up before on a different show. We were doing some stuff on architecture, and he
Thank
had
you,
pictures of
Manisha.
a lot of that stuff. So, you know, uh, that's why they say founded. Yeah, they found it. We found this building. It's ours. We founded it. God, snaky people. I'm just saying. I don't know. I guess if I
Okay.
ran across a really nice mansion or something, I would stake claims to it and say, I built this. What are you talking about? This
Yeah.
is mine. I live here.
Yep.
It's just crazy.
Yep. But we
So,
know who's living in there, though. Those elite. Those are the ones that reset us. They're
yep.
the ones that are privy to the information because they're living in the homes, but we're the working class. So do
Yeah.
they really want for us to succeed and to prosper, or are they trying to build us up so they can become established and then break us down so we could become a slave,
They,
so I don't believe
we,
they're trying to build us up. That's why we're saying, why don't they put the homeless in there? Because they don't want to. They don't want to build
no,
us
they
up.
don't want to.
They want to break us down. Like, that's the whole point of the reset. If we did go to save all our homeless and start turning this into a utopia, here come the reset again.
You know, I think as far back as slavery goes, because trust me, the very, very, very first people that were put into slavery were the Irish. And then the whole slave trade thing went in Africa. And then it
And
went on and on.
China,
Yeah.
I think too. China, they were doing the railroads,
But I want
repairing
to
them.
say that people Okay?
Mm.
All of us people, white class people, all of us people, we are all slaves to the same systems. They are supposed to be working for us. Our governments are supposed to work for us, but that's not the way they have done it in years. We work for them. They take our money, our tax money, everything else, the money that you think that you pay into for social security, for disabilities, for Medicaid to be taken care of in your golden years. That's all gone because they spend that money. That's why you have to fight for it to get it when you're ready to retire. And you get crappy insurance because all of
Mm.
your money has been spent and pushed in their pockets. And it's the same thing over and over and over again. And the only thing we get out of it is you get people that think they have their happy little life and they own their homes and they have their families. You never really own your home, because if you did, you wouldn't have to pay state taxes every year on your home, or pay taxes on your land taxes on your home. And go ahead and miss one or two of those and see what happens.
Yeah.
Government comes in and takes your home. You know, you don't own it. It's not yours, free and clear. You still pay for it for the rest of your life. And it's not supposed to be like this. But we have people in charge that they do nothing but um, worship the almighty dollar. Um, they get so rich and then they get bored because they have so much money now that what do they do with it? Now they find different stupid things to spend it on for their own gain. You know, let's see how the American people like this. Let's do this. Let's blow this up. Let's cut this on fire. Let's start this storm. Let's do this. I mean, they do it for their own amusement. We are nothing but amusing to them. And I think it really sucks. I think they all, like I said, Elon Musk needs to go ahead and colonize Moon or colonize Mars. He needs to take all these elite people and just go stick them on Mars. I think the rest of us would live happier, healthier lives with them gone. Let them go live somewhere else. They go find their own planet. They can work for themselves, do their own grocery shopping, you know, wipe their own butts for all I care. They just need to go on, get out of here. We don't need them.
Do you think though, like, I mean, we're kind of bastards, you know what I mean? In a sense, like we were just kind of created out of nothing, as a society, in a sense. So, as like a whole, would we need parenting from like, or would the whole world go to chaos? I don't know. Would we pull together? Like, how do we do this? And then how do we
Well,
decide?
there would definitely have to be first put in place some kind of law and order,
Okay.
because we have too many people on this planet that have lost their ever loving minds, and they think that it's okay to loot and riot and all this other stuff. You can't live in a society like that all the time. So something definitely would have to change with law and order. I think that's what they're trying to do now, even though it doesn't seem that way, because our little wayward children that are causing a lot of problems, they're doubling down right now. And they're going to play stupid games and they're going to catch stupid prizes. That's what's going to happen. But that would have to be something that would have to be definitely put in control first. Because I think without our elites,
Yeah.
I think that, and them not taking our money and laundering our money and lining their pockets with it, and us keeping our own, I think we could all still flourish and be able to grow our own fruits and vegetables, be able to eat things that aren't poison, sprays with poisons, and God only knows what else they're doing to us and to our meat and to our animals and everything, you know? I mean, I don't even trust, I will not even get my animals vaccinated right now. There is no way. I don't even trust what they're doing to them, you know?
No, they've ponied all the vaccinations for pets. They've like
Yeah.
piggybacked them. You know what I'm
Well,
saying? So they put
yeah.
5 in 1 or 2 in 1, and then I only go to the holistic vets, and I tell them how much of the vaccination I want them to give my pup, and it's never the full amount.
Yeah.
And I won't go to them unless they do that. So,
Well,
and
I
and
don't
I wish I
go.
wouldn't have even vaccinated them at all, vaccinated her at all.
Well, unfortunately, like with mine, when I got Putin, we have like a place out here called Emancipet, and it's like $60 to have your animal, the checkup and fixing them, and of course they do vaccines when they fix them. Okay, they
Mhm.
vaccinate your pets when they have to fix them, but this place, if you tell them no, I don't want you to do that, well then they just say, okay, well we'll keep them here for 10 days and we'll make sure that they don't have anything before we put them under, animal safety. Okay, whatever. But unfortunately for Putin, I had to take him to a regular vet because the poor little guy, one of his testicles was stuck up in his gut, and they had to do a certain surgery where they had to cut up his belly to be able to get to it and take it out. So he had to go to a regular vet because this place didn't do specialty surgeries like that.
Mm.
They do spade, neutering, and just small stuff. But if it's anything else, you have to take them to a regular vet. And so by taking him there, of course, they wanted him to have everything, all of his boosters and this, that. So I took him, went ahead against my better judgment and did it. But they send me things all the time now telling me that, oh God, they're overdue for this. Yeah, okay. And I delete the text because no, they're not overdue. Leave them alone. First of all, my dogs do not sit outside. They don't stay in the yard. They don't have contact with other animals. Um, they only go out and do their business and they come right back in the house. Um, they don't go out by themselves. Tucker gets taken out on a leash, and Poot and I go outside with them, and they come right back in when we come in. So I don't really worry about them getting rabies.
No,
Okay, it's not like there's anything out there that's going to get them. So
no.
to me, they don't need them. My cat got vaccinated 7 years ago when she got fixed. She does not go outside. She's, matter of fact, she's scared death of the outside. She doesn't leave my house. She's happy. She's healthy. She's fat. She's she's doing good. She don't need nothing either. But I have found that when you don't give your animals those vaccinations every year, that they live longer. So yeah,
I
I
I I had one vet. This is how bad I am sometimes. This is why I get called Dexter every once in a while. But I was at the vet and I was back in the room, and this lady who is the vet was asking me questions like, "Well, do you know when her last vet vaccination was?" I said, "No, I'd have to look and see." Is she vaccinated for rabies? I don't believe so. Is she vaccinated for such and such? I said, I don't think so. So she goes back to talk to the vet, and the vet was behind the door saying, "This is unacceptable. This is inexcusable. They should have all their records, and they should have this or that." And so I took my dog and I went out into the lobby and I told the ladies, I said, "I'm leaving right now because I overheard what that lady in there was saying, and she won't touch my dog with a 10-foot pole. I'm gone." I didn't pay for the visit or anything. I just left. I don't know if
yeah.
I had a charge or not, but when I went to the new vet and they had to call that old place to get the records, they told them the story. So when I walked in, they were just kind of looking at me and treating me in a certain way. When they ask you, like, well, what does your dog eat? And you're like, well, sometimes I cook her steak and sometimes I cook her chicken and sometimes I give her raw food and sometimes I give her, treats and sometimes I give they're like, oh gosh, this is not a normal pet owner. They want to hear what kind of kibble you're using.
Well, they asked me that, and I told him he's from Russia. He eats boiled chicken. He eats boiled chicken, he eats sweet potato, and he eats pumpkin. Is there a problem?
Oh.
And they're like, no. I said, yeah, because that's all the healthy things that they need to eat.
There you go. Yeah, and
So,
did you read what Rebecca said? Good luck getting agreement on Law and Order.
yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
what I mean is there have to be some that because think about it. Right now, the psychopath is ruling. Now, what about the saint? Who is the saint? Is there somebody that we can consider a saint or somebody that's so good that they're driven to be good? I mean, is there that such a thing that we can turn our
well,
guidance towards? Like
I mean, you know,
not a yogi. I'm not talking about that. Not a
no,
guru.
I think that because I I don't put my trust into churches either, because a lot of churches can be pretty bad.
Yep.
And as a matter of fact, I think that a lot of them they just are in it for whatever money they get. They don't teach the right things. I've learned more being on my own and sticking my nose in the Ethiopian Bible than I ever learned being in a church, because it's like they take out scriptures and they teach you what they want to teach you. They don't read the whole thing. So you get bits and pieces of this book, of this book, of this book. You don't get enough to learn what you need to learn. So you don't have to be in a church to worship God. Okay? And there are a lot of people that are good people that do the right things. We have a lot of people that aren't doing the right things, but I think, honestly, that a lot of those people that are not doing right, they have been brainwashed that way by the people that need to go find their own planet.
Okay.
You see what I mean? Like if they didn't have that type of influence and they went by, these kids growing up being taught the way we were taught and the way our parents were taught, and because we are not the same as these kids now. Gen X and some of Gen
No.
Z are okay, but these kids nowadays, we are not the same.
Mm-mm.
That they know.
Pomeranians. They're
Yes.
Pomeranians. When it comes to war, they're going to be the first eaten.
Well, there's that. So I think that because, and I've heard a lot of people say it, my child grew up like this in a Christian life and this and this and this. Then they went to college and they came back a whole new, entire different kid. Mine did the same. Okay. So something is going on in these colleges that they are filling our our smart kids with dumb shit.
With false history.
False history is one, yes. Um, our history books, that even I think the ones that I grew up with in school, they were false. They've been hiding true history from people for many, many of years. Why? Because they're afraid of it.
Yeah.
Because they're afraid that people will find out exactly what things are supposed to be like and not what they want it to be. So they shove it under the rug. They hide it. And that's the way to do it. Start indoctrinating the kids at a young age so that by the time they become adults, they don't question anything. And I think that a lot of the
Yep.
people that I know, one of the reasons why we figured stuff out so much younger, well, not only because of the things that I was put through when I was a kid, but also in school, I was one of those kids that I would get bored, so I wouldn't pay attention. And I think that that's what was my saving grace and why I could ask questions and figure things out and know that, because I didn't go by they didn't get a chance to fully brainwash me. basically. And I would look at things and say, well, that doesn't make any sense. And people be like, well, that's what they teach us. Teach you, because nobody taught me that. And I'm just telling you that that doesn't make sense. So, you know, they get so bent out of shape when we figure things out. But we're all grown adults. You know, why lie? Why lie about our history? Because they can't make money off of us if we know the truth. Everything has to do with money. You know what? Let's just scrap money in the toilet. Let's just all go grow sweet potatoes. And anytime we need a chicken, we trade a bag of sweet potatoes. I mean, it's ridiculous because money is what makes the world go round, only because they make it that way.
Mm-hmm.
They make it that way. We used to be subject to free energy. What is one of the biggest bills people have in a household? The electric bill. Why are they charging us for water? Water flows free. It's an element of the earth. Why do we get charged for water? Because there's somebody that has these companies that make revenue off of us
Nestle.
paying, oh yeah, paying for things that we should have free, that come from Mother Earth itself, that we all have access to. But they can't make money off of that. Because you think these rich people, do you think that they've ever worked a day in their life? No. Why? Because, well, their families have gotten money from our families and we've worked for them all of our lives and they've profited off of us. If you turn around and you were to tell somebody, like, let's say, I don't know, let's say the King of England, that he had to go work at McDonald's making $7 an hour flipping burgers, what do you think he would do? He would throw his fit like a child and stomp his feet and yell and scream because he might get dirty. Really? I think we should turn the tables. I think that we all ought to have an equal playing field on money. And I really think that the rich and famous should have to go out and work just like the rest of us. Because even us as a society, we've worked so long that even if we were rich and wealthy, we couldn't just sit at home and do nothing, most of us, because we would get bored. So we'd want to go out and get a little part-time job at least, do something, do constructive things. Me, I worked all my life. I get so bored sitting at home because I can't work anymore. Yeah, if I win $1 billion on the lottery, I might have fun for a little while, but that only lasts so long, you know, till you just get bored.
I do
I
like
don't,
the I do
huh?
like the idea of part ownership of everywhere you work. You know, like every employee being part owner, because it then you make profits too. You know what I mean? It just seems like
That would work good on our age group, but the younger people, that would not work. And I'm going to tell you why. I used to be a manager at several places. They would sit back and put their feet up and say, well, I'm part owner of this place. I don't have to do anything.
yeah, but you want to make money, you got to make your business make money. You know, that's the whole point of it, is to take pride in it, and
Yeah.
instead of like making a dollar amount per hour in tips and then the owner getting all the excess. You know what I mean? It should just be divvied out, it seems, instead of so.
Because I could just picture it now. I've worked with a few kids that do that. And I could just picture it now. I walk in the lobby. What are you doing? And they got their feet up on a table. Nothing, ma'am. I own part of this place, so I'm taking a break. Well, you just took a break an hour ago.
Oh
I'll
yeah.
take a break when I want to take a break because I own half of this place or a piece of this place. And it's like, oh my God. Yeah, all right, whatever. So, you
Yeah.
know, I mean, there are stipulations. No matter what you do, you're going to run into problems. But
I do think, though, just getting rid of the elite, like you said, society when it collapsed, because we're in a place where we could sidestep.
yeah, We're used to
You
being
know,
poor.
we're at a place where we got technology going on, but everything's limited because of the uh, patents on them and everything.
Yeah.
So
It's like, and we're used to being poor and working and, taking our money and budgeting what we have to pay and,
and
how much money goes in, how much money needs to go out. So I think we could survive without our rich, wealthy people because really
yeah,
we don't benefit from them.
no,
They benefit from us, but we don't benefit from them.
no,
Now, if each rich elite person had to take a portion of their money and divvy it out and give it to some poor people without anything in return, now that would hurt them, but without anything in return, that could possibly work. But because
mm-mm.
they don't spend their money. Look at when Hawaii burnt down. What were two rich people doing?
Asking for money.
Oprah and The Rock. They were asking for money from the people. Do you want to know what Oprah donated to that? Pillows. And not very good ones from what I'm to understand. Okay? She donated pillows. That woman could have taken a quarter of her net worth and it not have hurt a hair on her head and donated to
Yeah,
start rebuilding. But no, they wanted the money to come from people who couldn't afford it. And people who couldn't afford it gave anyways because they didn't want to see these people suffer. Do you think a lot of the rich people donate? No, they may say they do. Good luck. Good luck. So, yeah, they don't benefit us at all. So, as far as I'm concerned, Elon Musk can go put them on Mars and they can go colonize it all they want. They can stay there. They can do their own laundry. They need to learn how to be, members of society. And not one of them, no, not one of
no,
them. These people who have all this money, they do
yeah,
not know how to be a member of society.
no,
That's a problem. You tell them to go do laundry, they would be like, how do you turn it on? They wouldn't have the first clue. Not one of them. And that's pretty sad. So go put them all somewhere else on a different planet and let them run around and knock heads into each other because they would not know what to do without us. Although they want us all dead, they would not know what to do without us. Period. Yeah. Get that, Oprah. Go get my shoes. You got two. See, I could never do that because that would be me. You got two good legs God gave you. Get up and go find your own shoes. I wasn't the last one to wear them. I didn't take them off and put them somewhere. I'm too mouthy for that. There is no way. I wouldn't do it. Uh, well, I know that Rebecca, every time, like, my caregiver goes and he gets his little lottery tickets. But he never plans on winning because he always said that he's going to, every time he leaves the house, he says, I'll be back. I'm going to go donate to somebody else's retirement fund every time. And I'm like, why don't you put that away and save it for your own retirement fund?
Wow.
He said, I don't think this $7 is going to make a difference. I'm like, oh my God. Oh, the last Powerball they just had was like so many billions of dollars, and only two people won. One here in Texas, and I promise you it wasn't me, because if it was me, we'd all be on a cruise somewhere. But one was here in Texas, and the other one I think was in Oklahoma. I think, but just two of them won, and they split it. And I'm like, wow, that's a lot. Even if they took the cash payout, they still made, like $300 million.
It's just not right. I mean, if you think about it, like who would want $300 million handed to them because it just separate. I mean, you just want everybody to be kind of equal and everybody to be doing all right, but you don't want to be like, oh, I'm the one that has $300 million
Well,
because
you would be surprised if you won $300 million on the lottery, how many relatives you did not know that you had would come out of the woodwork.
exactly. That's what I mean. Why would anybody want this? I mean, you want a decent amount of money, but why would you want like an exuberant amount of money? That's just
Right?
it's like anti-human almost,
Yeah. I that
anti-human because we're all part of the same race on this planet. We gotta.
I wouldn't I mean, other than okay, I would like to buy me a decent house other than living in a one bedroom freaking apartment where I have one trail that goes from my computer around my bed into the kitchen and then into the other room into the bathroom, and that's it. I can't go nowhere else. I have
Hmm,
wall to wall furniture because at one point I had a 3 bedroom. So what's not in the shed outside is in the house.
got you.
So I don't have room. So I'd want to buy a decent sized house for me to be able to move around in.
I think
Um
everybody deserves that.
and but like I said, I still wouldn't own it because well, you have to pay property taxes every year. And if you own the property, I don't understand that.
And
But
we should be able to own our property, pass it down to our kids, get ahead, build up, but they don't allow us to do that because they don't want it.
well, back in the
So,
day when people would pass away, they put them on family lots on family property that was passed down. Well, by doing that, they could not charge us property taxes. So that's how they came up with
mm,
cemeteries.
okay.
And now
So
they tell you it's illegal to bury your loved ones at your property. You have to go through all this court hearings and spend all this money in and out of court to try to bury your loved ones in a family plot on your property.
oh,
But yeah, because once that happens, you're section different, so you cannot be charged property taxes. And do you think the people that get all this money think that's okay? Nope. Nope. And I sit and I wonder sometimes because I go around, I see cemeteries, but a lot of cemeteries, more people are getting buried there, but the cemeteries themselves aren't getting bigger. Why?
yeah.
Why? Really? There's something definitely wrong with America, people. There is something fishy. Something is so wrong. Most of us know what it is. Most of us can only hope that it can get corrected. Wish that it could get corrected. But there's just so many things that are so wrong that it's ridiculous. And there goes my allergies again. Ugh, ridiculous, people. Ridiculous. Allergies are ridiculous. But yeah. So I think that way back in the day, people had a little, they used to sit there, like my grandma used to sit there and say there was a simpler time in life. And I do believe there was. But I do believe that was when the wealthy people didn't step on everybody else.
They had to
I
build it up in order to they had to build it up first.
Yeah,
And so they
true.
allowed it, right? I think there was a times when we were doing really well. Um,
Yeah.
and now they've gotten what they need. They got their CERN
Oh God, that thing.
and other things that they're trying because this is multidimensional. They're trying to open up things into fifth dimension. I mean, we can take this anywhere now, but
Yeah,
it's just
they need to not be playing with that. That
Yes.
is something that the veil would come down naturally. They don't need to be forcing it, because
Yikes.
what they're getting out of it is not correct. It's not right. And they really just, they need to stop playing God. That's what they need to stop doing. And for some reason, the rich and famous seem to think that that's what they are, that they are mini demigods and they can do as they please. And I don't know. And somebody needs to knock them all down off of their pegs, because
Pedoph-
it's ridiculous. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. They treat us the way that they do when we're the ones that make it okay.
yeah.
Because you know what? When Beyonce goes into a dress shop, who is she going to have to fetch her dresses for her and tell her how things look? She's going to do it herself, you know? They rely on us too much, but yet they don't want us around. And that right there, my friends, is absolutely wrong. It's wrong. They treat us badly and they wonder why they got the devil knocking on their heels, because everything that they've asked for, he's always given them. Satan's nothing but a big liar. He'll tell them, oh, yes, I will give you fame, I will give you fortune. And in return, you serve me, but they don't know that that means even in the gates of hell. And too bad, so sad for them. Absolutely. So, but yeah, I, I, I think one night we need to pull up all that stuff that we can find on the Titanic and go through that,
Okay.
because I don't think that I don't think that ship, number one, I don't think it hit iceberg.
Okay.
I think that somebody shot a missile at it, honestly,
Okay.
and sunk it.
Well, and then
Yeah.
there's also rumors too that um, the Titanic went on to be the Lithuania or the that ship that
Lithuania.
I believe so. And I'm not sure I can make that connection. They said they removed one of the steam stacks so that it wasn't self-powered, and then now it's the St. Mary or the Mary sitting in Long Beach. But I don't know. I can't make that connection. But it at least gives you an idea to think outside the box
Well, they have
when it
the
comes to
Queen Mary.
Titanic.
The Queen Mary sits out there in Long Beach. I do know that.
Yep, I've seen that. I used to live there. Mm.
Um, but yeah, they switched it around, and I mean, look, because with as old as the Titanic sister ship was, it was due not to be around anyways, where the Titanic was brand new. So how did the Olympic, or Olympia, whatever they called it, how did it stick around for 50 more years when it had already had it 50 years and it was a piece of crap? Put a new ship up there, slap a new name on it, you know, paint the piece of crap and send it out to sea and sink it. Collect the insurance money on it, plus kill the three most richest men in the world that don't want to go by what the narrative is.
But didn't a lot of these people pop up later in history that allegedly died? I thought I heard that too.
I
So
Some of
were
their kids, there might have been a few of them that came out that lived, because they remember they sent women and children on ships. So probably some of the children from that day and age, you know, they grew up with people telling them the story of what happened to their families or what have you. So they would have came out, but um there was a lot of people that didn't make it, and a lot of men that didn't make it because they let the women and children go. And that's just it. That's why I'm saying the Olympia didn't have as many rescue boats as the Titanic did. So people couldn't understand why more people didn't get off there, because the Titanic was equipped to be able to evacuate just as many people that it could hold.
mm,
So, but they didn't have that. So why? Well, because it wasn't the ship they sent out that they thought they did.
oh,
So, and my daughter will argue that tooth and nail with me because she has seen the Titanic so many times in the movie. So that means she can argue with me. I'm like, oh my God. She go back to college. Go learn a few more things. God, I love her. I seen that movie, Mom. That's not true. What?
And then something else interesting to look into at some point is maybe the catacombs, because like in Europe and stuff, if you look in the catacombs, all the bones and how they're displayed
Yeah.
artistically and beautifully, and then you get to America and there are none. So it would fit the narrative in Europe, because it's been around for, they say, centuries. They could just easily put all the dead bodies and stuff like that down or the bones down in the catacombs. But what did they do with them in America? That's what I think, they had to bury him here.
Yeah.
So there's
Or they,
something to that too, because there aren't any here, but there was clearly,
well,
a
and then
reset and a massacre here as
a
well.
lot of those insane asylums, what I don't understand how they buried all those people because they had infirmaries. And from what I'm to understand, that's what they did with a lot of those bodies was they
Mm,
burned them. So, that's what I'm saying. Our history is so combobulated and you can't find everything you need to know on Google. You can't find everything you need to know on Wikipedia because
no.
that's all ran by the same freaking companies that put their own narratives in there and then you're done.
Okay, and I'd love to get some of the narrative straightened out, like for Black history, because my um godchildren and stuff like that, when they were going to school in Brooklyn, they got taught basically everything they needed to know about Martin Luther King, everything they needed to know about
Did they
uh
really though?
on the bus, they had to research. And I said, you know what? You're allowed to do one report a year on a Black person, and then you have to pick another nationality somewhere. And I was like, going to combat the school,
They
because it's like,
combat the school. Really?
um,
They don't like that, Chad.
no, but the thing is like they drill it into their head, even that they came over in slavery on ships and sold out by their own people, but there's no evidence of these ships existing. The slave ships, no evidence of that. And why couldn't they be a powerful people that was already here that got wiped out? You know what I mean? In a civilization. Or why did the Indians have to be told, living in tribes and primitive people that didn't even know what ships looked like, and saw ripples on the water? No, it's like they were
They're
extremely advanced people that got knocked down and
yes.
then came back through and reset into this narrative. But that's much more empowering than told you come from a country where you're sold out by your own people in slave ships, like that's so unempowering, disempowering and stuff like that. It's better
Well,
to
but
think,
that's what they do though. They
yeah,
have to do everything they can to empower us so that we don't we just take for face value
yeah,
what they tell us happened and
yeah.
what they put down and we don't know
No,
the whole real truth.
Africa got hit the hardest. It used to have advanced cities just like we have
Yeah.
over here in that sort of architecture, but it got wiped out, and knocked back.
Yep. And they did that to those people on purpose and they shouldn't have. But I'm going to say again,
But
guys, so that everybody knows,
yeah,
put it out there. We're going to start doing a game night, a trivia game night, and then once a month. And then we're going to, the person that wins the trivia for that night, we're going to do a cash giveaway. Um, so it ought to be fun
and I'll
times.
I'll donate to that too.
There you go. Then the cash giveaway gets a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
But we're going to do that once a month. I'm not sure when we're going to start doing that, but we are going to start doing it. I still got to go over it with Susie. And the way we're going to do it is we'll put the trivia questions up and there'll be an A, B, C, or D. And then you guys will put in the chat. We'll keep track of who puts what, whose names are going down on there and how many you've won. You guys keep track of what you win. and then we'll divvy it all up at the end of the night, and the winner gets the cash prize giveaway. The more questions you get correct, that puts you ahead. So I think it'll be kind of fun. Once a month we can, have a few laughs and do some things. I was looking at some of those trivia ones, and at first I'm going, God, this is so easy. I feel smart. And then it come up with a harder question. I'm like, God, I'm stupid. So they were pretty neat questions. One of them was about your organs in your body. Like
Ooh.
it would ask, what is the longest organ in your body? Or it would put like, what produces sugar, or what produces insulin in your body, or, what body part does that functions in your body. So, it was pretty neat. And then there was another one that would ask, like, what do you call the currency in China? And then it gives you answer A, B, C, or D. And then, you know, so that one I did pretty good on that one. I think I only missed a few. And there's like 50 questions in each one. So
And
I
no cheating.
figure, well, yeah.
No cheating.
So there's 50 questions in each different category. So it's kind of like a fun Jeopardy type thing, Only you can't say, "Well, I'll take that for 100." So, but it just seems fun, and we were at first, when we first started doing these shows, they were so serious, and we had to cut back a little bit on, the super soldier programs and all that stuff, because they were getting to Susie and I both real bad. And survivors, will still have some of those people on every now and then, because we like the people, but there's only certain ones that I'll allow to come back on here, because those aren't the ones that trigger me, and or trigger Susie and stuff like that. But so we've tried to change the direction of the show into doing more information of stuff and some history stuff. And Chad and I are going to be doing different things and architectural stuff, and we're going to be doing just different categories here and there. So I thought adding a game night once a month might be a little fun, where we can pick different types of games to do, and I think it'll be fun. Get a good laugh while we're doing it.
Yeah.
What the heck? Everybody needs a good laugh every now and then. Oh. But let's see, what time is it? 10:47. So we got a few more minutes left, and we're going to get out of here, because I know I'm probably going to shoot over and see what Abe's doing on Werewolf Wednesday. I got to carry the Scooby snacks because, Oh, a friend of mine just sent me a picture of Barron Trump that says, "You're worried about the wrong Trump." That is correct, my sir. That is correct. You just got that?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That right there is going to be our people don't realize exactly how smart that young man is. He is extremely, extremely intelligent.
I'm sure. And I want to do more than just look into architecture. I want to look into different, because everybody has their own perspective on what happened, but nobody knows for sure what happened. Some
On what?
people are, when it comes to architecture or the
Oh, yeah, yeah.
reset, or even, once we get into the other dimensions and start figuring out what they're trying to do with some of this technology and stuff now, and what they're, 'cause it's all about figuring out their game, the game board, the playing field.
Our technology on this planet comes naturally. Our veils between dimensions are natural. Okay. They fall on their own. I do believe we do have different timelines, and sometimes our timelines converse.
Yes.
And you ever heard of doppelgangers? I think that's when people start running into their doppelgangers, is when our timelines kind of clash. Um, but they take some of the technology that they think they create, or they take already created technology and try to tweak it so they can play God. And that's when things go wrong, terribly wrong. And they don't take accountability for any of it. They blame it on other things. Climate change. We'll blame it on climate change. People, I got
Yeah.
news for you. There is climate change. Our seasons change every year. Okay? All this other stuff that they're doing, all of the tornadoes and the flooding and the rain and our ripples
Droughts.
in the clouds and our droughts, they're called HARP and weather control. They do have that. They've had that technology for a very long time. Every once in a while, you can
Okay.
get lucky and you get puffy clouds in the sky, and they're real clouds, but not too often.
That is one thing that we haven't really brought up is like these buildings have come down in the past, like the World's Fair. Um,
Yep.
how, it had to have some sort of, it wasn't by a fire. It had to be by a weapon of mass destruction.
Well, they also have the ones that they are underground that have sunk from mud floods. Go imagine that. And they've just built on top of them. There was a flood somewhere. I got to
Yeah.
remember where it was. And when it did, it washed out. And the people that owned the house on top started looking, and there was a home built on the bottom of their home. And they were like, what is this? It's what they did. They wiped out societies, they wiped out technology. Well, they didn't really. They kept
Using HARP
technology.
technology probably or something like
And
it.
that also can control a lot of the earthquakes too. So I said, they keep playing God. Leave it alone. Mother Earth will do it herself. Just leave it be. But because it's not fast enough for them, because it's not hard enough for them, they got to redo it and do it all on their own. They don't care. And they don't care about us at all. They really don't care. If you people think that the government gives two shiny nickel shits about us, you're sadly mistaken. They don't care. And it doesn't matter how often they want to sit there and tell you they care, they don't care. They hate us. They want America to be a third world country because of our Constitution. And I got news for you people. The only way for our Constitution to go away is if we are involved in a war and we lose. Then the Constitution gets rewritten by whomever won. And we don't want that to happen, because a lot of other countries
Mm.
have given up their rights and free will. And that's why a lot of other countries look up to us, because it's not our government that they look up to. It's our people, because we are strong enough to say no. The biggest problem is we haven't said no enough. But it's getting to that point anymore, because the people itself, who there are a lot more of us than there are of government, the people ourselves, we've had about enough. We're done with the stupid that is going around. And they want a civil war, but we're also smart enough to not give them that. So they keep trying to push our buttons, but we all know that's what they want, and we don't want to give it to them. So it's a play game. We all just have to be smart enough to keep our wits amongst us, do a lot of praying, and smile in the face of that evil, because there's nothing that they hate more. But we just, as long as we just don't give in to what they want, we do need to start saying no a lot more. That is definitely something we need to start doing. We need to start contacting our people in government, and we need to start raising a stink about a lot of different things. And believe it or not, after a while, you will get what you need out of it, because they can't. They may be able to pluck us off one at a time, but they cannot do it all at once. And even the police officers, a lot of our military, yeah, they have to go by what a lot of them say, but if it comes down to it, they'll stand with the people before they stand with anybody. As long as the people they're standing with are doing the right thing, that's what counts.
And we will, because we have humanity in us. At least half of
Hmm.
at least half of the population does.
That's right.
Okay, the other half does too. They're just maybe baby souls. I don't know, figuring things out.
I don't know why he knows I'm doing a show. I'm gonna rack his head. I'm getting ready to yell at him and tell him either he needs to come over here and get on my chat, or he needs to just leave me alone till I'm done. He runs his own shows. I don't know what he's doing. But but yeah, I'm supposed to be starting to do a show with Glenn over on the Sports Cat, his daily Gazette, where he
Hmm.
does stuff with the news and stuff like that. But until he separates himself from somebody that he's actually working with, I can't do it. Um, he has to get away from one of his partners that he's doing stuff with, because I almost got into it with that person, and that person brings out a very ugly side of me, um, because of who he is, and what he stands for and what he's done and continues to do. So till he backs up and gets away from that, I can't do that. But that'll end up being Monday through Friday. So that I think is an hour or two in the afternoon. So I'll let you know before I start doing that. Um, I don't know if Susie's going to be around this weekend or not. She was going to go to a horse show last weekend, and she didn't end up going because it was still too hot. So I don't know if she's going to go this weekend or not. Things are starting to cool down a little bit, and we're supposed to be getting some rain this weekend, which is going to cool things down. We should start cooling off soon. Usually October, early October, Texas starts cooling down, where we get into like at least the 80s and not the 90s and 100. But I'm really surprised because we didn't see too many 3 digits this summer, which shocks me, which tells me we're probably going to have a pretty cool winter.
Mm.
Um, Hopefully it doesn't snow and we don't shut down for 7 days, but our electric grid is now away from everybody else's. So I don't think that'll happen. That a couple of years ago, that happened. For 7 days, I lived in my car just to get heat. I opened my refrigerator, didn't touch my freezer. That's how good my refrigerator is. 7 days, didn't touch my freezer, left it closed. Opened up the top refrigerator. I lost nothing except for a gallon of milk in those 7 days.
Oh wow.
And everything in my freezer was still rock solid. So, yeah, so it was because my refrigerator stays set. I have a digital one, so it stays set at 32 on the top, and -6 in my freezer. So, but yeah, I had no heat or nothing. And at the time when this happened, I wasn't as heavy as I am now, because my thyroid, you know, didn't start ganging up on me yet. So I was a lot smaller and I was freezing. So me, the dog, the cat, we spent some time in my car. I had a little DVD player that plugged into the cigarette lighter hole, and watched movies. Kept the car running. Every couple of days, we'd drive down to the gas station, fill up with gas, and come back. And it killed me because I hadn't had no coffee or anything. One day out of those 7 days, I had coffee, and that was it. And then I was laying there one night, had the window cracked a little bit, and I'm laying there in the car, got the heater going. And Jack had gone in the house for a little while to stretch out on the bed. And some guy from nowhere, I don't even know who it was, wasn't any of my direct neighbors, comes up and knocks on the window. And I'm like, what? He said, I brought you coffee. I said, no, that's okay. Thank you. And he's like, no, really, you need to take this coffee. Roll the window down. I'm like, no, I don't need any coffee. Thank you. And he's like, you really need to take this coffee. And I'm like, and I have a gun sitting in between my legs. So, well, you have a good night, ma'am. And he walked away. I'm like, that's what I thought. So, go ahead.
Make my day, punk.
I didn't know him. I wasn't going to take anything from him if I didn't know him. Could have spiked my coffee and drove away with my car, you know? So, but I did. 7 days I spent in the car. It wasn't bad. I mean,
I don't know.
Wasn't bad.
I don't know.
I at least had heat. Yeah. Worked out okay. And then when everything came back on, and once the house warmed up, that was the first thing I did. I went and jumped in the shower. It was terrible. I couldn't shower for 7 days. I was like, oh, no.
Didn't a lot of people pass away during this? Wasn't this one of those?
Some of the elderly people who I guess they were banking on everything starting back up. There was a few of the elderly people that passed. But for the most part of it, everybody did, pretty okay. There was a lot of people who, they had barbecue pits and they cooked outside. And, even though it was the middle of winter and snow all over the ground. But yeah, I thought it was kind of pretty because, I lived in Arizona for 10 years. I lived out here, and that was the first time that I seen snowfall and stay on the ground. And it was just pretty. I was like, oh, look at it out here. So the 7 days I spent in the car, I spent most of it during the day while the sun was up, looking out the window at all the pretty snow. I wasn't mad that everything was shut off in the house. I wasn't angry about it. Thank God I had a car that ran that had heat. That's all I needed. Took the cat.
Time spent in a car, though.
I put the cat in. The cat was in there with us, and she was just looking out the windows like, what is going on? And then when we drove down the street, she was really like, oh my God. But yeah. It was pretty fun. I don't know. It's kind of like camping out,
Yeah.
So, but all right, guys, we are going to let you go. Watch the notifications for the next show because I'm still recuperating and recovering. And then, like I said, we'll let you guys know when we have that game night. Hi, Woo. When we have that game night, I'm going to get with Susie and Chad here, and we're going to contribute money together so that we can do the cash prize. And then we will let you know when we do that. And it'll be fun. It'll be different categories each time we do it. So I think it'll be fun because, we'll let you guys do your guesses first and you get your guess in and we'll write it down and then we'll take a shot at the guess and then we'll play it and see who's right. So yeah, we can sit and see I was impressed when I was looking at him, though. I knew more than what I thought I did. I was like, oh, I think I just guessed that one. But I think it'll be kind of fun. So, but all right. Like, look, and I'm a Riri. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm allowed.
Did you see the reward Woo's offering?
What reward? The winner of the game night gets a picture of me with with your muscles flexed off. You are asking for your wife to beat you up, aren't you? All right, everybody gets a picture of Woo with his muscles flexed. I thought he was going to say me and Bigfoot, but you know. Woo, you're crazy. You and Jason both. I haven't seen Jason tonight. He must be over in a different chat. I think, I think he's over with Dennis Carroll tonight. Is it Dennis Carroll he does? Who else is? He does, he's a mod in other shows, so I can't keep up with him anymore. Yeah, game night ought to be really fun, Moesha. So we are going to go ahead and go so that I can make sure that we get over there to Abe's chat. And we will see you guys later. And you guys have a good week. Stay safe, everybody. It's nuts out there. And like always, everybody, please be kind to one another. Have a good night.